You know, it's easy to think that we build our character all on our own, right? Like it's some kind of solo project based on willpower. But what if I told you that one of the most powerful forces shaping who you are is the person you come home to every single day? It's a huge idea, so let's get right into it.
I love this metaphor. It's pretty much the heart of what we're talking about today. Think about it. One person might be at the helm, steering the ship, sure, but their partner, they're the wind. And that wind can either fill the sails and push them forward toward their destination, or it can turn into a nasty storm that pushes the whole thing towards disaster.
All right, to really see what this looks like in the real world, we're going to turn to a classic story. Let's go back in time to the busy, noisy markets of ancient Mecca through the eyes of a wise man named Hasan Al-Basri. He saw something there that just perfectly captures this whole idea.
So Hasan Al-Basri is walking through the market one day and he comes across this cloth merchant. And this guy is just a lot. He's pushy, he's swearing left and right, he's totally desperate to make a sale. Hasan is so put off by it, he's like, nope, not buying from him. Fast forward a few years, he goes back to that same market, finds the same merchant, but the guy is a totally different person. Calm, dignified, incredibly honest.
And we're not talking about a small change here, like he was just having a better day. This was a complete 180, a total shift in his entire character. It was so dramatic that Hasan al-Basri, who's seen a lot in his time, was just floored. He had to know what was going on.
So he just walks right up to the merchant and asks him straight up, "Look, I remember you. Years ago, you were a different man. What on earth changed you?" And that one simple question is what cracks this whole thing wide open.
And you might expect him to say, oh, I found a new supplier, or business got better. But nope, the merchant's answer had nothing to do with the market. The real reason for this massive transformation was waiting for him at home. He starts by telling him about his first wife. He says, with her, nothing was ever good enough. If I came home with a small profit, she'd make fun of it. If I came home with a lot, she'd just dismiss it. Can you imagine that? That constant feeling of inadequacy, day in and day out? Of course, that desperation spilled over into his work.
But then, everything changed. His first wife passed away, and he eventually remarried. And this new wife, a completely different story. She would tell him, "Fear God. Just bring us what is pure, and if you only bring a little, don't you worry, we will make it feel like a lot." Wow. Her focus wasn't on more, it was on goodness. It was all reassurance, zero pressure.
I mean, look at that contrast. It's night and day, right? The first wife was all about pressure and fear. She basically made him feel like his self-worth was just a number in an account. But the second wife, she was a source of peace. She let him know that his dignity was worth more than any amount of money. And that's what freed him to become a calmer, more honest, and just plain better person.
So, okay, this is a great story, but what's the lesson for us? It really shows there are two totally different ways a partnership can go. Let's actually dig into that a little bit and figure out what this anatomy of support really looks like.
What the story is really getting at is that a righteous partner is so much more than just a role or a list of duties. They're like an anchor for you, you know? A source of moral and emotional stability. It's not about just keeping the house in order, it's about lifting up your partner's whole spirit.
So what does that actually look like? Well, for one, they gently remind you of higher values, of what's really important. They help protect you from making mistakes, but without judging you for them. And this one is huge. They make your home a place where you can actually recharge, not another war zone you have to escape. And maybe most importantly, they see the good in the small things. That ability to make much of the little things, man, that contagion is contagious.
And this all points to the real heart of the matter. It makes you ask, where does a person's true strength really come from? The story shows us that it's probably not from being pressured and pushed all the time.
Think about this. A person can literally fight battles with the entire world outside, as long as they know they can come home to a sanctuary, a place of peace. But if home is the battleground, if it's just another place filled with anxiety and judgment, even the strongest person is going to crumble eventually.
There's this beautiful concept of sakina that just nails this idea. It means finding this deep tranquility, this serenity and peace in your partner. That's the goal. Not to compete, not to fight, but to create this shared space of calm and stability. That's where the real power is.
Which brings us to our final and maybe most important thought. It's so easy to get bogged down in thinking a partner's role is just about the daily tasks. You know, who makes dinner, who does what chore. But their real impact goes so much deeper.
They're the wind and the sails. They aren't just contributing to a household. They are actively shaping the very character of the person leading it. They can create an environment that either wears a person down or builds them up into the best version of themselves. Now that is a truly transformative power.